I'm back. Hi, my name's Kate. I am a high school math teacher at the end of my 18th year of teaching. I thought that it's time for a little update video for you guys. I know that things just kind of disappeared in February, and I apologize for that. I had to make a tough decision to stop my YouTube channel for a while. I appreciate everybody that reached out to me, whether it was through Instagram or through YouTube or through email, just kind of figuring out what was going on. Just for specific or certain reasons, I did have to make that difficult decision to pause my YouTube channel, but I am back. I am so excited. I have definitely missed this community. I have missed making math videos for everybody that really has enjoyed watching them. It has been such a fun part of who I am, and I've really missed that. And so I am super excited to be back. So I thought that I would do just a quick little update video sharing with you guys, from when I left you guys in February until now, the beginning of June, and just kind of let you guys know what's been going on. So I finished up my last year, this year 18, and it was overall a really wonderful year. Transitioning to a new high school is definitely challenging. I think the biggest challenge for me was adjusting to a completely different type of school culture than what I was used to. Both with students, with administrators, with teachers, with the community, just everything from one district to the other was completely different, and that was a big challenge for me, but I made it. I absolutely loved this past school year. I had such a great year. Overall, there were definitely highs and lows, but overall it was a fantastic year. I did want to update you guys on one of my videos that I made kind of towards the end of January, February. I was talking about some of the changes that I was making for second semester, and I think the biggest change that I talked about that I needed to make was in regards to students that were absent when they were taking tests. And first semester I did a lot of just, let me know when you can come make it up, and we'll work with you, whether it's before school, after school, during your study hall, whatever it was. And by the end of the semester I had a huge thick stack of papers of tests of students that just never made them up, and it became a huge burden for me, and honestly it wasn't great for the students either, because by the time some of these students remembered that they had to make this up and then made it up, it was like 2 months after we've already learned everything, and it just didn't work so well. So second semester I changed, and my policy was, so you're absent on, let's say, Monday, the day of the test. When I see you next in class, so whether that's our next class Wednesday or whether that's Friday or the following week, the very next time you step foot in my classroom, you are making up that assessment. And that means that students that were absent for the test missed notes, missed whatever lesson we were doing. I really hate having students miss the notes in the lessons, because it's really important, especially when I'm teaching those upper level classes, the pre-calculus, the college algebra. They're missing a lot, and it's not as easy to just look at a copy of the notes and be like, oh yeah, I know exactly what we're doing. So I implemented that, and I told the kids, this is my policy. I'm not making any exceptions to this. I will say that the number of students who were absent for tests went way down, because the students realized that missing instruction was not great for them. So they showed up for the test, they showed up for the quiz for the most part, and they took those. So really I didn't have to worry. I think, with the rare exception, I had a student maybe a week late have to make it up because they were absent over an extended period of time. Now, the only, exception I did make, when I knew a student was going to be absent well ahead of time, they talked to me ahead of time, and it was, because they were having surgery, or because, some of my kids were going on some huge vacations, whether it was for a sporting event or a family vacation. They talked to me well in advance, and we made plans ahead of time. Otherwise, nope, you just took it, and that worked out phenomenal. Another change that I had talked about was the bathroom time with the students really kind of abusing the bathrooms. And I will say second semester definitely cut down on that. I did have those frequent flyers that constantly needed to use the restroom during instructional time. And I tried to tell them, you know, can you wait 5 minutes until we're done with our notes? And, you know, they wouldn't wait, they would just leave. So, you know, I'm gonna keep working on that one. And I think that's just a cultural thing with this school that, you know, they're used to not being told no for certain things. And I think that's one of them. Phones continue to be an issue. I did follow the school policy with those, but kids, you know, they're sitting there, even though I tell them put them in your bags, they still put them in their laps. Some of them have them on their desktops or their tabletops, but they're constantly just pulling them out just very quickly, oh, I'm checking the time, I'm just looking to see whatever. So that's become a big issue. So I'm still working on seeing and trying to figure out the best way to manage this. I would love to just have the kids put their phones in and swap them out with my calculators to do that. So we'll see, maybe the school will let me do that this year. If not, I know other teachers have the students put their phones in their bags, and then all of their bags go to the back of the room or the side of the room or someplace in the room, and they stay there. So I am thinking about doing that next year. I have a very nice large classroom that I'm moving into where I should be able to have lots of room in the back for the students to do that. So my idea is possibly, if I can't use the calculator caddy for their phones, 5 minutes after class starts, when their homework has been turned in, okay, everybody make sure you have everything you need for class. I need to see you put your phones in your bags, and your bags go ahead in the back of the room, and they're gonna stay there until the end of class. And then you're not grabbing your bag until class is over. We're not doing any of this grab your bag and line up for the last 5 minutes. So still kind of working through that a little bit. We'll see what that comes up with, and I will definitely update that with you guys as school gets going in the fall. Another change that I needed to make second semester was just dealing with students that were absent as far as classwork and homework goes, and really stressing to the kids, when you are absent on a Monday, your homework is still due on Wednesday because everything's digital on Canvas, and you can stop by my room on that Tuesday, the day that I don't have you on our block schedule, to pick up the assignment and still have it done. Now, students definitely got a little bit better because they saw that I was serious about this and I was not giving them any leeway, but I still had some students right up until the end of the school year when we were reviewing for finals, and they're like, oh, I don't have my notes today. I'm like, well, look at all the notes on Canvas. And they were like, you put a copy of the notes on Canvas? I didn't know that. And I'm like, oh my goodness. So really gonna make sure I stress that next year, and just making sure every kid knows where to go, that I show it like, you know, the first month and a half of school so that they can see it and they know. Again, with having my own classroom next year, it'll be a little bit easier for me to set up some of these systems to make sure that students know exactly where to go to grab everything that they need. One of probably my biggest issues still second semester was with students turning in their homework. So my students turn in their homework on Canvas using their phones. So they either use the Notes app or an app called Cam Scanner to make PDF copies of their homework, and then they turn that in digitally on Canvas. So the issue is that a lot of students had problems with the connectivity in my classroom. I was in an interior room, so they didn't have service, and they were connected to the internet to be able to get access to Snapchat and YouTube, but for some reason Canvas just didn't work. Interesting. I tried to tell them, you know who you are if your phone doesn't work in my room, so you need to make sure that it's turned in ahead of time if you know it doesn't work in my room. Well, I started getting some problems with this, and kids would come up and, oh, it's still not working, I can't turn it in. And I'm like, why did you not turn it in prior to getting to my room if you know this? And they're, oh, I forgot, or, they had 11 million different excuses and whatever. And I know that some of them are legit, but some of them are my frequent flyers, and it was just getting really frustrating. And it kind of bit me in the butt towards the end of the year, because I would tell students if I knew that they were honest and I could see, that they had their homework done, I was like, okay, just turn it in when you get home, put a note in your assignment on the comment and just say that you talked to me and blah, 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 whatever. And then when I graded those, I could see the comments and like, yep, okay, I talked to this person, and they can get full credit. Well, I had a few cases where students would then say, oh, well, you only gave me partial credit, but you said that I could turn it in late and it'd be fine. And I'm like, but I don't have a comment in there stating that. And you're talking to me about this like 2 weeks after you turned it in. I don't remember that. I would be lucky if I remember we had that conversation that day. And so some of those escalated a little bit, and I ended up just giving them full credit just to avoid any further situations. But I am going to have to come up with a better plan. So I think my thing is really still telling the kids, you have to get it turned in ahead of time. Now I'm hoping my new classroom will have better reception because I do have windows, and so hopefully I won't have those issues. But I will tell kids, on the rare instance that it doesn't work, you're gonna just turn in your physical piece of paper, and then if it gets lost, oh well, that's on you. I mean, I don't know what else to do. It's getting really frustrating with this, but I do not want to just collect everybody's papers because that I know doesn't work for me. So still trying to figure out the homework turn-in issue. One thing that worked really well second semester was cutting back on my office hours. As I stated in my previous video, I used to just be available all the time for kids, before school, after school, you know, via email, and I stopped all of that. Honestly, as soon as I left school, I didn't check my email until I got to school the next day. This is the first year ever of teaching in 18 years that I have done that. And honestly, it was kind of nice. And I told the kids that. I said, you know what, second semester, I'm no longer going to be available 24/7 via email. I'm going to be available during my contract hours via email. And it was really, really good. I did have still kids emailing me, but I did tell them, you know, these are my office hours. And I had kids every once in a while show up to those, but it was no more of this, oh, I'm going to come and I wait around after school for them and then they don't show up. So having set office hours worked amazing, and I am for sure going to do that again this coming year. The last issue that I was trying to change for second semester this past year was the tardies and having my students fill out these tardy sheets. And I will say that completely backfired. I started doing it, kids would refuse to sign, and I had no recourse. I just wrote didn't sign. You know, it wasn't going to anybody. I had kids that would forget to give them back to me or accidentally lose them within the 15 minutes of them getting them and me trying to collect it back. I had one kid tell their parent that I was making them sign some sort of behavior contract and then contact the school, and I was like, no, this is what it is. I mean, that was actually kind of funny. The administrator that dealt with this with me kind of laughed about it. So really that just backfired, didn't work. And I think it worked so well in my last school because that's what most everybody was doing. And this is, you know, something that I was alone trying to do. So I need to come up with a better way to track our tardies so that I can then follow through with writing our referrals for those. So stay tuned next year when I kind of, you know, figure out what I'm going to do for that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little update. Definitely have missed making these videos. So I would love to know, what are some videos that you guys would like me to make? I'm definitely planning on doing some day in my life. They may look a little bit different than they did in the past, just, you know, for reasons. But I would love to know, what are some other videos that you would like me to make, you know, that go beyond just that typical day in my life. Please leave comments below, as I would love to start getting those or start that list so that when I am in the school, if I need to be, I can get those videos recorded for you. If you guys enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you are interested in following along more with my journey as I teach and as I embark on year 19, please subscribe. I will upload videos every Friday, but you guys can hit that notification bell to be notified the next time a video goes live. I hope you guys have a wonderful day and a great summer if you are on summer break. Bye.